So far on our South African expedition, we've toured an amazing reptile expo, the best and the worst reptile shop in Africa, and one of the coolest reptile breeding facilities on the continent. But in this video, we're going back to the beginning of our trip to a place just outside of Johannesburg. So to kick off our first day here in South Africa, we're gonna make a pit stop at this place. One of the many reptile parks that can be found wherever we are in South Africa. Hartbeespoort Dam Snake and Animal Park. On display, the world's most venomous land snakes. We are going in. So Clint from Clint's Reptiles and I are going to check out this zoo, then head to an undisclosed location to be the first to film one of the most incredible new discoveries in the reptile world, and then right back here to tour an amazing ball python breeding facility. This is one reptile adventure you don't want to miss. I'm Dave Kaufman, and these are my Reptile Adventures. Alright, so this is really cool. Right over here they have a snouted cobra, and it's in this open air enclosure, and people can just stand within feet of this snouted cobra and just kind of watch it do its thing. That is just cool. So right here we have one of Africa's most famous venomous snakes. That is the green mamba. There's two of them in there. And for being such a famous snake, look at their range. They're only found in this dark spot here on the eastern half of the southern Africa, and they're not a very wide-ranging snake at all. So really, their reputation far exceeds their relatively small range here in Africa. And basically, you suffocate if you get bit by one of these because it literally shuts down your entire nervous system, and therefore your heart can't function, your lungs can't function, your entire cardiovascular system completely shuts down. And right here we have another one of my favorite African venomous snakes. These are boob sleds. And these guys are relatively sexually dimorphic, and what I mean by that is that females are dark brown and the males are the ones that are green. However, there are exceptions to that rule, but unlike the mamba, these have a hemotoxin, which basically breaks down all of your blood cells and you just do not stop bleeding. And that's what can kill you, is that you bleed to death from this hemotoxin. But these guys are specialized bird eaters, and they'll even eat bird eggs. But in this enclosure, we've got a male and we've got a female. All right, Clint, what have you found over here?
Just my favorite reptile. Common snapping turtle.
Ooh, there he is. Wow, that's
two of them.
Yeah, these guys are cubsters. Oh, and there's a third one over there.
Oh yeah.
With a funky shell.
Yep, very poor development there.
Like heart-shaped shell. So, Clint, here we have carpet vipers, not to be confused with carpet pythons.
Yeah, that's a horrible mistake to make.
Yes, it is.
Very common, given how similar they look.
That's true. That's very true. These kill more people in Africa than any other snake species. Did you know that?
Yeah, and it's largely due to misidentification.
Echis are one of my favorite genus when it comes to venomous snakes. They're just so varied, so cool.
That is so beautiful. Well, do you know what happens when you have two of those?
Two carpet vipers?
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
You have Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Hey, look, meerkats.
Woo.
Do you want to sing the song, or should I?
Hakuna Matata?
If you're hungry for a piece of fat and juicy meat.
Eat my pal Pumbaa, he's a juicy treat. Something like
Come on down to dine on this tasty swine.
You can be a big pig too.
Close enough. Oh, look, they have a chimpanzee open air enclosure, but first, the reptile house. All right, here we have a copperhead. It's so cool to come to another continent, another country, and see our native venomous stuff on display. He's hiding right there, looks to be a broad-banded copperhead, but look at the substrate. These are like peach pits. And let's say, shells of some nut. But I've never seen a zoo display have a substrate of discarded peach pits. That's pretty cool, I think. I don't know. It's peachy anyway. It's really amazing to come here to South Africa and see a native Minnesota species here. Here we have a timber rattlesnake. That's the first timber rattlesnake I've ever seen in Africa. That's crazy. And here we have Burmese pythons from South Florida. We've got an albino, we've got a green, and we've got a normal. It's kind of cool to see morphs in a zoo.
I consider them now to be the king of the pythons.
Right?
You know, it was sort of up in the air because retics are longer, but these guys are probably heavier. But there is an area where their ranges converge, and just last year, for the first time ever, we observed in the area where their ranges overlap, a Burmese python eating a longer reticulated python. And so they are the king. That's how you become king.
Interesting. I did not know about that.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, you're confusing people, Clint. All right, now what is this now? Ball python. And look at that. They're climbing up in the trees. This doesn't make sense.
That doesn't happen. They don't do that. I saw a documentary that says they don't ever climb trees.
That's right.
In any part of their range.
That's right.
Especially the males.
That's right.
They're the most...
Especially in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And in forested areas within their range. They do not do this.
That's correct.
They live in tubs out on the savannah.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows that. And over here, they have a very tired retic. Whoa, that's one hell of a yawn.
Yeah.
Must be really tired.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's going on forever. I think he's broken. Oh no, he's not. He's fine. He's okay, folks. Wow, that was a big old long retic yawn. So Clint, here we have a black mamba, and that may be the blackest black mamba I've ever seen.
It is, for sure.
But little trivia for you. Why are they called black mambas?
Well, as it turns out, and contrary to what almost everybody who comes and sees my black pine snakes thinks, they're called black mambas because the inside of their mouth is black and they expose that as part of their threat display. They also can flare out their neck. These guys are very closely related to cobras. They're actually more closely related to king cobras than king cobras are to cobras. And for a while they were part of the genus Naja as well. So the black mamba was considered a cobra at one time.
So then we come up here and we have an open air chimpanzee army training facility? I mean... A few days later, we hopped a plane and flew to Cape Town on the southern coast, and while we were there, we toured a reptile breeding facility unlike anything we had seen before. In an undisclosed location somewhere north of the city, we found ourselves surrounded by the most venomous snakes in Africa. But as cool as these snakes were, we came all this way to see something very few people have ever seen before. If you haven't heard of Palm Street yet, you've got to check this out. It's a new online marketplace where you can see your new reptile through either live streams or direct from the breeder listings. The best part is all sellers are vetted to ensure your new reptile is healthy, and there are even exclusive perks for new members and so much more. Palm Street makes shopping for your new reptile fun. Check them out for yourself by hitting the link in the description below. So in this cave, I am surrounded by about 30 gaboon vipers, and not just any normal gaboon vipers. These are some of the only gaboon vipers in the world, and I'm just gonna have to show you guys, and when you see these, you're not gonna believe it, but I actually can't tell you exactly where I am. In fact, I even had to sign a non-disclosure agreement so that I wouldn't reveal where in South Africa I am. But this cave is absolutely amazing, and the gaboon vipers in this cave are one of a kind. Inside this cave is where the Albino Gaboon Viper project started, and again, I am surrounded by about 30 gaboon vipers right now. Most of them are albino. So this is Bjorn at Reptile Garden, and you originated the albino strain of gaboon viper, which is absolutely incredible. Tell us all the story behind it.
Yeah, so it's quite a long thing that happened. When I got my first gaboon viper, it was a 1.5 meter gaboon viper. And a friend of mine was actually selling it and everything because he needed to get an engine for his car. And I was like, dude, you cannot sell that animal. We need to keep that in the friend circle.
Yeah.
So I got that female. And as soon as I got her home and in the enclosure, I was just thinking like, yo, imagine what an albino looks like. Like, what would all these different colors, the pinks and the purples and the golds, look like in an albino form? And then I loaned a male to breed with her, and she ended up popping normal babies, where I got 10 babies out, and then she died with like 40 something inside of her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were good and the bad. And then I kept those babies and like raised them up, and I was going to add new bloodlines in. And then just before adding the new bloodline, The male I was going to pair ended up dying, so I was forced to pair siblings. And then I had the females all nice and gravid, and obviously there's like a 5-year gap, 5 years to raise them and everything. And I was always just telling my staff, like, oh, an albino gaboon would be awesome, and imagine what it looks like. And I was telling another guy, when we looked at the female, and she was nice and fat, and I was like, watch, she's going to pop albinos. And then she did.
Just like that.
Insane.
So you just willed the albinos to happen.
Yeah, that's why I felt it literally just like changed my whole perspective on life and religion and everything like that. So yeah, when I talk about it, I get goosebumps.
Wow. There's no story like that. I mean, that is incredible.
So her name's Ruby. She's one of the first, yeah. All the big ones here are the first batch, all related. So every single gaboon in this room is related.
It's like you can think about, you do a vision board. I want a car, I want a girlfriend, I want a house. It's all things you can obtain. That is not.
Correct.
So for me, that blew my mind.
The thing that I'm really impressed with is that each one of these is like a snowflake. Each one of them is different. Yeah. Different colors, different shades.
Oh, that's why I got so many. It's even the normals, it's like the variation. I'll show you the heads as well. They are... Wow. The heads look like they're lacking pigment, in a sense.
So in this cave right now, we are surrounded by over 30 gaboon vipers. Yeah. Normals, albinos, you have multiple albinos.
Yeah.
This is one of the coolest places I've ever filmed, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, so we got quite a lot of little albinos and heads up here. It's the last batch. Not a lot when you think of gaboons, but, we have problems with load shedding, all kinds of things like that. So the good, the bad, the ugly. This project has been an absolute roller coaster ride.
I bet.
So, everyone thinks it's all like, oh, great. No. But, look, got albino gaboons.
Right.
Winning, loving it. So.
All right, so I'm going to ask the question that everybody watching this is asking.
Yeah.
How much are they?
Yeah, so they, like, going now, I will not let them go for anything less than 10 to 15,000.
US.
A piece, yeah. And my holdback males are off the market unless someone offers me something stupid. And I'm a pretty stubborn person. I've got so many now. What's the difference keeping a few more?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
All right, well, this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And he agrees. Yeah. So, wow, thank you so much for having us over and showing these. I know that, you don't... I'm not disclosing where we are. We actually signed a non-disclosure agreement so that, you were sure that this is protected.
Yeah, very few people have actually been in this room. Even like some of my good friends
have never been in this room. Well, I'm honored. Well, thank you so much. This is such an incredible project that you have here.
Awesome.
Zilla has everything you need for your reptile pets, from caging to lighting and everything in between. To see their entire catalog and find out where you can get Zilla products near you, visit zillarules.com. As amazing as those snakes were, we didn't fly all the way to Cape Town just to see them, and you'll see more of why we came here in an upcoming video, and why Clint may not have made it back alive. But for now, we found ourselves back in Pretoria to tour one more breeding facility before we headed out into the bush for our safari, and you'll see our complete safari expedition in future videos as well. But for now, this is DJ from Reptiles for Centuries. DJ, you have one of the most incredible reptile collections in the Johannesburg, Pretoria area. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. First of all, we're in one of how many rooms?
So this is basically our adult breeding ball python room. So we've got 2 rooms for the ball pythons. We keep all our hatchlings and adults individually. So all of these animals here are either breeding size or nearing breeding size. And then we've got a few odds and ends in terms of green chip pythons, Burmese and stuff, which we keep separate from the ball pythons. And so this is basically an adult ball python room.
Okay, let's see some cool stuff here.
Yeah, so this is the spot nose hypo black exantic DG.
Oh my god.
And we called this animal the Aquatero. So this is a project we started in 2018, and still till the day my favorite ball python we've got in the collection. Such a beautiful animal.
That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, a triple recessive animal. We want to try and get paint, monsoon, puzzle, and the list goes on into this combo. So hopefully this year we can hatch out some more of them, eh?
So look at those muted colors. It almost looks like it's in shed.
Yeah. She's got a slight grey, bluish tint to it.
Yeah.
Here's a Mandarin hypo.
Ooh.
So this female originated from Pete Newton out of Europe. So with the Mandarin, there's a bit of a confusion. Some guys call them inner Mandarin, some call them Mandarin. In my opinion, there's a lot of line breeding with the ball pythons going on. So if you pick up a mandarin, make sure they come from a nice high orange line, and make sure you pick up the most beautiful expression.
And that one is.
Yeah, no, she's beautiful. Eh? This is which we call the black panther, which is a confusion black-head leopard phantom clown.
Oh my god.
I always try and say we're trying to reproduce something in a gaboon adder, so hopefully in a couple of years we can reproduce that in a ball python.
That's strikingly beautiful.
Just a really simple but beautiful combo.
Whoa.
Lesser leopard black pastel, fire exantic, and yeah, just a beautiful snake.
I've never seen this combo before.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of guys shy away from lesser, but I mean, if you see this combo, you will be surprised and actually amazed by the lesser what it does in this combo.
All right, so over here we've got the zebra gene, and not a lot of people have heard about the zebra gene.
So zebra originated from Steve Roussis, and then I think, according to my knowledge, he sold the project over to Adam Chesler. Then Adam took the project and he took it to the next level. He produced the first hypo zebras and combinations of it. So one of the original animals we actually got from Adam is this pastel zebra male.
Oh my god.
So we bred this female actually to a hypo spot nose DG that actually originated from Canova. So let's show you guys her. And she's one of my favorite animals just because you can't replicate something like this. And we've had her since 2016. And I can't ever see myself parting ways with this animal.
No.
Here's a Super OD Ultra Male Batman.
Oh my god.
So she's a beautiful animal. Unfortunately, the Super OD wiped out all of her Batman patterning.
Yeah, well.
But, I mean, she's a beautiful snake. And one of my dream combinations.
That is amazing. I mean, it didn't knock out all the Batman pattern, but a lot of it.
But yeah, you can still see
Sure.
the leopard spot nose interaction. And of course, Super OD just brightening it up, eh?
Unreal.
So this is the Batman Ultramon.
Oh.
Without any other extra added genes. And this project we started in 2017. We missed the odds until last year to 2024. And we finally hatched this animal, you know. And this is a dream combination. And I'm happy to have it in the racks.
I can see why. All right, so here we are in the Condro room. We've got a bunch of Condros here. Now, before I turn on the camera, you were telling me that you made these enclosures.
Yeah, so not by myself. I've got a great employee, Morris. He's been with us for 11 years. So we actually designed these, and we built them. We cut the wood at the nearest store, and we basically fitted them in. So, I mean, they're actually quite cool. Here's one of our females, which we raised up since a neonate. She's a Sarong times Super Beast line. So the Super Beast line is a tricolor line here local to South Africa. So
Is it really?
yeah, so it's actually from Graham Lotte, Snakes and Adders here in South Africa, and he's got some really nice chondros as well, and this originated from his line actually.
Wow.
So this came from Europe. This is a Sarong times Putin line female, and I must say they're really amazing animals to work with. I still love the ball pythons. They're still to date my favorite species just because of the genetic diversity.
Sure.
But of the chondros, what I love is year in and year out, you can keep the animals and reproduce with them and not lose anything. With the ball pythons, I always say it's the saddest thing. We sell snakes, but I hate selling snakes.
Right. I'm that way too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like that actually. To be
so
honest.
with the chondros, these are my pet projects. If they breed, great. If they don't breed, I still enjoy them.
So it's not just the adults we have babies. I love how they start out red.
Yeah, such beautiful animals.
I wish they stayed that color. Can you imagine that as an adult?
Eh? Yeah, that would be amazing. Eh? In the near future, I see they producing some amazing chondros, especially in Europe. So I think there's some huge potential with these animals going forward.
Yeah, we haven't even begun with these. Again, you have one of the most amazing collections in South Africa. I mean, you've only been doing this, what did you say, since 2014? So you've been doing this pretty much for 11 years.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've been keeping reptiles. It's a cliche to say my whole life, but I got my first beauty when I was 6. And it's a snowball effect. You know how it goes, Dave. And honestly, I live, breathe, and do anything reptiles. So it's amazing to have you guys here as well and share the passion with you.
All right, so before I say rattle on, tell everybody what your YouTube channel is and how to find you.
Yeah, so the best way to follow us is on Reptiles for Centuries, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, of course, Morph Market as well. And yeah, if you ever travel to South Africa, you guys are more than welcome to come and visit us. We're always open and we're always willing to see you guys.
Fantastic. We've got a lot more of this country to explore. Next week, we're going to continue with the South African series. There is so much more to come. So guys, real quick, I just want to give a real quick shout out and a thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter and help support this channel, that link is in the description below. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. And until the next Reptile Adventure, love the planet, feed your reptile obsession, and rattle on.